Comrade Sputnikov is back in the house. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Ushanka Show, where everyone can learn something new about life in the Soviet Union. The main topic of today's video is Soviet money. We're going to talk about different coins and this bizarre debacle with so-called Zionist One-Ruble coin. But before we begin, just a friendly reminder, every like counts, every comment counts, every new subscription counts, so please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It will help Ushanka Show to be more visible on YouTube. Thank you so much. Most of you probably know that the name of Soviet and Russian currency was ruble, but I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the origins of this name. So apparently before the coins, Russian tradesmen were using pieces of silver to trade, and when they will cut off a smaller piece of silver, and in Russian to cut, to chop will be rubить. So that's the smaller pieces of silver that were отрубленные, were called ruble. So that's apparently the origins of the name ruble. And of course we had pocket change, small coins, as you see at this picture. This is from my personal collection. 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 kopeck. And if you're interested in the topic of buying power with Soviet money, I already made several videos about different items you could purchase for as little as 1 kopeck, 2 kopecks, and 3 kopecks, and so on. Link will be below in the comment section. And we also had 50 kopecks coins. They were quite rare, not really a lot of them were in circulation. And then of course we had paper currency, 1 ruble, 3 rubles, 5 rubles, 10 rubles, 25 rubles, 50, and 100. But we also had 1 ruble coins, as you see at this photo. They were quite large, pretty heavy, and most people didn't like them because, we were a cash society, so carrying those heavy coins in your pocket or in your small wallet would be not really convenient. So people usually try to get rid of them as quick as possible. I have only 2 1-ruble coins in my collection. I have this one, minted in 1981 to mark 20 years since the first flight of human into space, so that's a Yuri Gagarin coin. And I also have this 1-ruble coin minted in 1991, the final year of the Soviet Union, and it's also a present from one of my subscribers. And looking at the current prices on Soviet 1-ruble coins on eBay, I'm wondering, man, I wish my family saved 5,000 rubles in 1-ruble coins. Right now it would be at least $25,000, if not more. And before we talk about the main topic of this video, the Zionist ruble of 1977, let's take a quick look at the most minted Soviet 1-ruble coins. So all these coins were so-called юбилейные rubli, jubilee rubles, and the first one is 1-ruble coin of 1965, 20 years of victory over fascist Germany. Total mintage 60 million. 1 ruble of 1967, marking 50 years since the Soviets took power. Total amount minted 52.5 million. 1 ruble of 1970, marking 100 years since the birth of Vladimir Lenin. And this is so cute. 100 years anniversary, 100 million coins minted. 1 ruble of 1975, 30 years since the victory in the Great Patriotic War. Total mintage 16 million. It's kind of interesting, the language changed. In 1965, it was victory over fascist Germany. In 1975, it's the victory in the Great Patriotic War. 1 ruble of 1977, 60 years since the Great October Socialist Revolution. 5 million minted. Also in 1977, they started minted so-called Олимпийские rubli, Olympic rubles, dedicated to Olympic Games of 1980 in Moscow. This particular Olympic ruble had mintage of 9 million. And I already showed you this coin, 1981 1 ruble, 20 years since the first flight of human to space. Total mintage 4 million. And now we're ready to talk about the main topic of this video, this commemorative 1 ruble coin from 1977, marking the 60th anniversary of the Great October Revolution of 1917. And just a quick side note, in Soviet Union, every time the last number of the year hit 7, it was always a big deal, because October Revolution happened in 1917, so every time there's 1957, 1967 was huge because it was 50th anniversary, 1977, of course, was 60th anniversary, so there will be always big celebration, marches, posters, and some commemorative coins. And I could only imagine if Soviet Union would make it to 2017, that'll be probably the most lavish, fancy, loud celebration of 100 years since October Revolution. But it didn't happen. And here's an example of the announcement in the Soviet newspaper about launching this coin on November 1st, 1977, to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Great October Revolution with the picture. But a lot of people noticed there's one specific details in this coin. They sent letters, they called, and I don't know how many coins actually went into circulation, but shortly after they were all confiscated, removed from circulation, and destroyed. In order for you to understand this whole drama with this ill-fated one-ruble coin of 1977, I need to remind you that 1970s, especially the end of 1970s, was a huge anti-Israel, anti-Zionist kind of movement and propaganda in the Soviet Union. So Soviet people were extremely sensitive to anything that looked like the Star of David, because the Star of David in every Soviet caricature or poster was the symbol of Zionism. So when the Izvestia newspaper published the announcement about this 1977 Jubilee coin, the KGB phone was ringing like crazy. Hundreds, if not thousands, people to call KGB because they noticed something very suspicious in this coin. And those people noticed the Star of David smartly hidden inside the symbol of lithium.
Чего не смеетесь-то? Не смешно? Не поняли, да? Это Россия.
And I know it sounds ridiculous, but the government decided to cancel this coin, speaking of the cancel culture, and destroy all the coins that they minted so far. So of course, even the Soviet government couldn't cancel the 60th anniversary of the Great October Revolution, so they ordered to redesign the coin and make it look slightly different, so you don't really see the Star of David now. And here are those two 1977 one-ruble Jubilee coins. They looked very similar, but they are different. And even with the new version, some people found the problem. If you turn the coin upside down and you cover a little bit with your finger face of the Lenin, it looks like a smiling dog. And this poor ill-fated one-ruble coin got a nickname, Sionistsky ruble, the Zionist ruble. And no one knows how many of them actually do exist, but they go for several $1,000s. And when I checked eBay, I discovered there's one guy trying to get almost $6,000 for Russia Rare Error Coin USSR, 1 ruble 1977, Lenin 60th anniversary, Zionist. But it's not Zionist coin, it's the replacement, but this dude is trying to get $6,000. But a more realistic price looks like about $15 to $20 for the replacement 1977 ruble. And I'm just wondering again if my parents converted their 5,000 ruble savings into this particular coin, 5,000 times 20 will be all set. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this story about Soviet Zionist ruble, and if you did, please don't forget to like this video, post your comment, and there's also a new way to promote my video. You can give like a little promotion yourself, so please do that if you like this video. Otherwise, we'll talk to you soon. До побачення. Goodbye.